If you're interested in supporting this work, you can support me on Patreon, and that will help me make more videos and more podcasts for you in the future. Click the link down below on Patreon, or I'll put the link up here in the corner to Patreon, so you can go there and become a Patreon supporter.
Get mantra and meditation MP3s at jasongallant.ca.
As you tread upon your spiritual journey, you'll realize that an open mind is essential for waking up and enlightenment. Because in the end, the trap is the mind, the place of point of view, the place of I'm right about this, I'm wrong about that, like in this identification with thoughts, with information that is carried there. Now, this does not mean that you're not right about anything. There are certain things that you just know to be true that have to do with experience instead of the trading of information or the debating that we see going on in the world right now about numerous issues. And the ego likes to think it knows, even though it has not been immersed in the experience itself about any situation. That's whenever people get in trouble, is when they start to debate about things that have not been their experience. There has not been an immersion in what they are speaking about. They're just comparing information and therefore getting trapped in the mind. So the secret to wisdom is to deepen your ability to experience. When you know this moment so well, then it opens up for you. There are layers upon layers of experiences here. And when you know yourself so well, you will also know others. There's a magic there to that. There is something so deep and profound in it. When you realize something so deeply, there's no more debating, there's no arguing, there's just a knowing. And it's not, the typical word where when somebody says you know something, you must be a narcissist or something. They're like, oh, you're just a narcissist because you know something. This is not the same as a thought or a dream. It's an experience. Right? So a large crime that's going on in the world right now is that people are living in their minds. They have ideas about things. And then when someone has an experience, they disregard that experience and say that the idea is more important than the actual experience. Whereas where the experience is really where the wisdom is. It's the immersion into reality. Now again, I'm not talking about interpretations either. I'm talking about when you experience a tree falling on you, there's no amount of dogma or belief systems that can say that that didn't happen and say that, a tree can't fall on you. Once a tree falls on you, you are very aware that a tree can fall on you. But there's the belief right now, and there's the belief that the ego will carry that if I know some information that I read somewhere, that somehow that event that happened could never happen. It never happened. It's not relevant, right? Now this is where the closed mind keeps someone locked into a certain point of view and therefore locked in their suffering. There's a deep correlation between opinionated people and suffering. And there's a reason for that. It's because they've lost their ability to open their mind to deepen their experience of this moment. I mean, life is one big path of ignorance, really. I mean, you thought certain things at certain times in your life, and you might have been very, very sure of those things. And some of those things you were right about. But it always helped to have a hint of, maybe I don't know everything. Maybe there's something else also to the picture that I can integrate. And that's really the spiritual path, because you're also saying, I don't know everything about me. about about this vehicle that I'm walking around in. I don't know everything about it. And I'm open to the fact that there is an experience that is even more profound than the experience I've had so far. This is really humility. This is what humility is. Humility isn't about the disregard for your value. Humility has to do with openness to your point of view and realizing that it can evolve and that point of view is not you. There are so many arguing point of view, and the funny thing is they're arguing about a point of view they might not even have in 10 years. They're creating enemies around a certain point of view. Meanwhile, they might not even have this point of view in 5 years or so. It's needless. It's creating enemies for no reason. It's all because of ego. That the person in front of me is nothing more than their beliefs. So if their beliefs are different than my own, then they must die or something like that. Right? There's incredible violence being perpetuated by the pacifists. The ones that self-proclaim themselves as passive. They're the ones that are the most violent with their words. So what I'm saying is this is, again, ego. This is not the enlightenment or spiritual path. And it's true, not everyone is as serious about their self-development. They're not as serious about finding out who they are. Not yet. So surrendering point of view, realizing that there is wisdom blooming inside you at any one moment with experiences. But experiences are the key. How deep is your experience of this moment? And you'll realize that experience has nothing to do with your opinion or point of view. The truest experience has nothing to do with point of view. It has to do with a deep immersion into this instant. You don't even take the mind into it. You don't even take the identification into it. The scientific observer is enabled in this moment because there is no invested interest in seeing one way or the other way. There is only the way. You allow life or existence to show you what the way is. You don't project your idea upon existence. If anything, that has been the crime of humanity, is projecting control and our way on top of the way. And it's gotten out of balance, out of harmony. So point of view isn't who you are. Your point of view has changed many, many times in this life. So you can fast track your progress in a major way if you open yourself up. Not to abuse by others, but open yourself up to perhaps this moment has more to show you. Perhaps there's something more that reality can teach you if you just make a relationship with it. This is the path of the mystic. Information can never replace experience. So if you don't know the answer to all of life's mysteries, just Take your experience deeper. Become more intimate with this moment. Allow wisdom to bloom within you. And yes, ironically, then you may have some opinions which are more deeply rooted in reality instead of information fed to you by the charlatans of the world. So I hope this helps you on your spiritual journey. Take care for now.
Are you interested in working with a spiritual teacher in a formal setting? Well, perhaps the Wisdom Life School is for you. If you're interested in checking out what the Wisdom Life School is all about, just go to aratima.com.